previous video having to do with worldwide earth shaking. Again, today is December 21st, Tuesday, 2010 at 6:13 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we are looking at the live internet seismic server, which is still recording a gigantic earth movement at all stations around the world. Now, this began last night at approximately 1 to 2 hours before the eclipse. And originally, I thought this may be a signature from the Iran earthquake that happened yesterday, which was a 6.5 on the Richter. However, it continued all night and into today with a crescendo in Japan of a 7.4. And now, as of, and I'll just click on any one of these, I mean, all shaking through the roof, but we'll just click on Norway's, let's say. And as of 23:47 Greenwich Mean Time, we still have a gigantic disturbance happening. And this is not the Japan disturbance. This is some other anomaly that is showing up all around the world. What will have to be done is in a few days, hopefully this will calm down, and we'll be able to get on and show you a readout of what this normally looks like, the live internet seismic server page. Even when there's a large earthquake, 5, 6 on the Richter, it shows up at the nearest stations, but around the rest of the world it shows up as a smaller signature, much smaller. And it is, Carney Yard is touching on this, but I have never seen anything like this in the time that I've looked at this data set. I mean, in Arizona, it's showing just off the chart. The evidence speaks for itself. And you can see the date timestamp, 12/21/2010, 16:49 Mountain Standard Time, which is 23:49 Greenwich Mean Time. So, just to prove that this is not showing up, and are either censoring this data or it's some other kind of anomaly, is the current USGS World Global readout of earthquakes. And within the last hour, we've had a 5.1 aftershock in Japan, which any geologist would be able to tell you. If you want to go back and look at prior data, you can see that a 5.1 does not show up as a huge off-the-chart earthquake all around the world at all the heliographs around the world. It just doesn't show. So, and this is current. This is as of Wednesday, December 22nd. So it's already rolled over on Universal Time. We're not going by Greenwich Mean Time. This goes by Universal Time. So it's up to date as well, and the anomaly still stands. We'll update further. I'll post the links down below so you can look at the stuff yourself.
So USGS did not report any of this. And yet you have seismographs all over the world registering hour after hour after hour that there has been a shaking of the whole planet going on. Very significant. Very significant. Some of you may have read about the birds and the fish. Okay? You're aware of the fact that there have been large kills of birds and fish all over the world. On the 2nd of January, there was a huge hole in the sun, coronal hole. It went and spewed forth certain frequencies, and they came and they hit. Now, the birds and the fish are more sensitive to this type of thing than we are. But that's the best explanation I have for the fact that simultaneously there is the birds and the fish all over the world that are getting killed. Now, maybe somebody else has a better explanation, but I think this is a pretty good one. My conclusion is that we cannot move beyond the drama of the third dimension using third-dimensional techniques. We simply can't get there. We've got to find another way. And that's what a lot of the information I've been getting is all about, is, okay, let's find a different way. We're undergoing a very unique transformation. Some people say this has never occurred before in this universe, exactly this way. We have the opportunity, instead of reincarnating and continuing to do that, to take these physical bodies that we have and transform them into bodies of a lighter energy. We're talking about taking these old carbon bodies and making them into something new. This hasn't been done before. That's why we are the focal point of the universe. That's why there is an armada of 1,038 huge ships completely surrounding this planet. And these are the big motherships. That's why there are 1 million of our brothers and sisters, non-human, walking amongst us. We're going to be coming up to a point of the trifurcation. And the trifurcation really means that if you want to be asleep, you can continue to be asleep. If you decide you want to move forward with the planet, you can move forward. And if you want to fight it tooth and nail, you can be removed. That's the trifurcation that I'm getting. Heidi and I were headed to a meeting of some sort up in Fort Collins, and I kept saying, what's going on? What's going on? Now, I usually don't get precise words like this when this information comes to me, but it came this particular time. It said, these are the winnowing times. And I wasn't quite sure what winnowing meant. So as soon as we got to Lucy's house, I went to the dictionary and looked it up. And this is a woman who is winnowing. You're tossing the wheat and the chaff and letting the wind take the chaff and letting the wheat fall back into the basket. So we are going through a winnowing time. The other thing that I have been repeatedly told about is that the Earth's axis is going to be shifted, that the tilt of the Earth is going to be straightened, and that this will happen over a period of time. There's pretty good evidence that some of this is already beginning to happen. If you go and look at the reports coming out of the Inuits, the people up around the Arctic, they are already talking about the fact, well, you know, we hunt for seals, and the seals' holes used to be vertical, and we could anticipate when the seals would come up that we could kill them for food. But now, the holes are like this, and the hunting is much more difficult. So the sun, from their standpoint, or the Earth, probably the Earth, not the sun, has somehow or the other shifted. And then we have reports from all over the world. People that are keeping track of this are saying, well, you know, the moon is in a different place. Not a lot, but slightly different. It's further north than it's ever been. The sun is further south than it's ever been. Now, we're not getting that, of course, from our government or anybody like that, or the news media. This is a depiction of the North Pole and the South Pole, magnetic as well as physical. At this point in history, the magnetic lines come out of the South Pole and back into the North.